Is this real? I murmured, trapped among stunningly seductive alien women. Arrival at Nexoria, Devon. Matthews pressed his face against the viewport as the transport vessel approached Nexoria. The alien city floated on massive crystalline platforms above a swirling violet ocean, its architecture defying Earth's understanding of physics and design, spires twisted upward like frozen ribbons catching starlight, while pathways connected structures that seemed to hover without support. Final approach to Nexoria Research District, announced the AI pilot. Please prepare for atmospheric adjustment. Devon gathered his research equipment, heart pounding. After 15 years studying alien artifacts from the safety of Earth laboratories, he was finally seeing an extraterrestrial civilization firsthand. The Nexorian Council had only recently opened their world to human researchers, a privilege granted to few. Remember the protocols, his mentor had warned before departure. Observe, document, but minimize interaction. We're guests, not colonizers. The transport docked with a gentle hiss. Devon stepped through the airlock, his environmental suit registering the alien atmosphere as breathable but strange, tinged with spices he couldn't name. A delegation awaited him in the arrival chamber. Welcome to Nexoria, Dr. Matthews. The speaker stepped forward from the group. Devon froze. Before him stood a Nexorian woman, her skin a luminous shade of purple that seemed to pulse with subtle bioluminescence. Her features were almost human, two expressive eyes the color of amber, a delicate nose, full lips, yet undeniably alien in their perfect symmetry. She wore flowing robes that shimmered with colors that shifted as she moved. I am Zara, cultural liaison to the research division. Her voice carried musical undertones as if each word contained hidden harmonics. I'll be guiding your stay on Nexoria. Thank you, Devon managed, fighting to maintain professional composure. I'm eager to begin studying the pre-convergence artifacts. Zara smiled, revealing teeth that gleamed like opals. All in due time, Dr. Matthews. First you must acclimate. She gestured toward the city beyond the transparent walls. Nexoria can be overwhelming to first-time visitors. As they walked through the arrival center, Devon noticed how other Nexorians, both male and female, regarded him with curious glances. But his attention kept returning to Zara, to the graceful way she moved, to her occasional glances back at him. Is something troubling you? She asked, catching him staring. I've studied your people for years, Devon admitted, but seeing you in person is different. I feel like I'm dreaming. Zara's expression softened. Reality often exceeds our imagination, doesn't it? She reached out, her fingers nearly touching his arm before she withdrew them. Come, your quarters await. Tomorrow I'll show you our world. As they walked through the twilight city, Devon whispered to himself, Is this real? The line between professional curiosity and personal fascination was already beginning to blur, and he had only just arrived. Cultural exchange. The following morning, Devon awoke to the gentle chimes of Nexorian dawn bells. His quarters, a spacious chamber with walls that shifted between transparency and opacity, offered a stunning view of the city's central district. Nexorians moved about their daily routines, their purple and blue forms creating a living tapestry against the crystalline architecture. A soft knock at his door announced Zara's arrival. She entered wearing simpler attire than yesterday, a fitted tunic and flowing pants that accentuated her lithe form. I trust you slept well? She asked, her amber eyes studying him. Better than expected, Devon replied, suddenly conscious of his disheveled appearance. Earth scientists warned me about adjustment sickness. Your biology is more adaptable than most humans, she observed. That will make our tour today more enjoyable. They spent the morning visiting research facilities where Nexorian scientists studied the same pre-convergence artifacts that had fascinated Devon. He marveled at their advanced analysis techniques, occasionally brushing against Zara as they leaned over ancient relics together. These symbols, Devon pointed to markings on a metallic disc, they're similar to proto-writing found on Earth dating back 15,000 years. Zara nodded, her face close to his. The Council doesn't typically share this with outsiders, but some believe our ancestors visited your world long ago. That would change everything we know about human development, Devon whispered, aware of her proximity, the subtle floral scent emanating from her skin. By afternoon, they had left the formal research areas behind. Zara led Devon through a marketplace teeming with Nexorian life, vendors selling foods with impossible colors, artisans crafting living jewelry, musicians playing instruments that responded to thought rather than touch. Try this, Zara offered a small crystalline fruit. When Devon hesitated, she took a bite first, juice glistening on her purple lips. It's safe, I promise. Devon took the fruit from her fingers, their hands touching momentarily. The flavor exploded in his mouth, sweet, tangy, and something entirely new that made his spine tingle. That's incredible, he laughed. Nexorians believe sharing food creates understanding between souls. Zara explained, her eyes never leaving his. It's our first step toward truly knowing someone. As twilight approached, Zara brought Devon to a secluded garden floating above the main city platform. Bioluminescent plants created a private haven among the stars. This is my favorite place, she admitted, sitting beside him on a living bench that shaped itself to their forms. I come here to think when diplomatic duties become overwhelming. It's beautiful, Devon said, but he was looking at her, not the garden. Thank you for sharing it. Zara turned to him, hesitation and curiosity mingling in her expression. I've studied humans for years as well, Devon, but there's something about you that's different from the data. Almost without thinking, Devon reached out, his fingers gently tracing the luminescent patterns on her forearm. Zara's breath caught, the patterns brightening at his touch. Is this inappropriate? He asked, suddenly uncertain. No, she whispered, moving closer. It's unexpected. Under the alien stars, their lips met, tentative at first, then with growing certainty. Devon marveled at the softness of her skin, the way her bioluminescence seemed to pulse in rhythm with her quickening heartbeat. As they separated, both breathless, Devon saw uncertainty flash across Zara's face. The council would not approve, she said quietly. Do you regret it? He asked. Zara's fingers intertwined with his. No, but we must be careful. There are those who believe our species should remain separate. As they returned to the research district, walking slightly apart but acutely aware of each other, Devon realized he had crossed a line. He had come to Nexoria seeking knowledge of the past, but instead found himself entangled in a present far more complex and far more compelling than he had imagined. Forbidden knowledge. Devon's research accelerated over the next 2 weeks, fueled by both professional dedication and the desire to impress Zara. Each evening, after official work had concluded, they would meet in different secluded locations across Nexoria, a hidden alcove in the ancient archives, a private viewing platform above the violet ocean, her quarters when her roommate was away. Their relationship evolved in these stolen moments. Devon learned that Nexorian intimacy involved the synchronization of bioluminescent patterns, a visual dance of light that complemented physical touch. He discovered the sensitive areas along Zara's spine where her luminescence gathered most intensely. While she marveled at human responses she had only studied theoretically. Your people document everything about us, Devon noted one evening, as they lay entwined on a cushioned platform in her quarters, the room's walls opaqued for privacy. But this us I've never seen mentioned in any xenobiological text. Zara traced patterns on his chest, her purple skin contrasting with his. Because it's forbidden knowledge. The council fears complications. What kind of complications? She hesitated. Biological compatibility between our species was deemed impossible until recent discoveries. That information remains classified. Devon sat up, scientist and lover suddenly in conflict. Classified? But that's crucial evolutionary data. Devon, Zara warned, there are political factions at work. Some believe humans and Nexorians share more than cultural curiosity. She lowered her voice. I shouldn't tell you this, but yesterday I overheard council members discussing artifacts you haven't been shown. Artifacts suggesting our species may have interbred in the distant past. That's impossible, Devon whispered, though his mind raced with possibilities. Unless the pre-convergent civilization engineered both our species, Zara finished. The conservative faction fears this knowledge would destabilize both our societies. They're watching your research closely. The next morning, Devon accessed restricted archives using credentials Zara had provided. Deep in the database, he found images of hybrid skeletal remains dated 15,000 years earlier, exactly when human civilization made unexpected leaps in astronomy agriculture, and medicine. So absorbed was he in this revelation that he didn't notice the security alert until it was too late. 2 Nexorian guards appeared at the terminal. "Dr. Matthews, your access to the archives has been revoked," one stated flatly. "The Council requests your immediate presence." In the Council chamber, a vast circular room with 12 elevated seats, Devon found himself standing alone. Senior Counselor Thrain, a stern Nexorian with deep indigo skin, addressed him coldly. "Dr. Matthews, you have accessed restricted information beyond your clearance. This violates our agreement with Earth Scientific Coalition. The information I found changes everything we know about both our species," Devon argued. "This knowledge belongs to all of us." "Premature revelations could destabilize both our worlds," Thrain countered. "Your research permit is suspended pending investigation. You will remain in your quarters until arrangements for your return to Earth are finalized." As guards escorted him out, Devon caught sight of Zara standing in an alcove, her expression torn between duty and emotion. She made a subtle gesture he recognized from their private moments, a signal to meet in secret. That night, as Nexoria's 3 moons aligned in a rare configuration, Zara slipped into his quarters through a maintenance passage. "I've risked everything coming here," she said, embracing him fiercely. "But I couldn't let you leave without knowing the full truth." "About the artifacts?" Devon asked. "About us," she replied, pressing a data crystal into his palm. "And about what the Council fears most, that what we found together might be the key to our shared future." Between 2 worlds, Devon studied the data crystal Zara had given him, its contents projected in a holographic display above his bed. The information was staggering. Genetic analyses, archaeological timelines, and classified reports all pointing to a shared ancestry between humans and Nexorians. "We were engineered by the same creators," he whispered to himself. 2 experiments on 2 different worlds. A soft hiss announced Zara's return through the maintenance passage. She looked troubled, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with anxiety. "The Council is divided," she said without preamble. "Some want to erase all evidence and send you home with altered memories. Others believe it's time for the truth." She sat beside him on the bed. "Thrain has scheduled your departure for tomorrow's dawn cycle." Devon took her hands in his. "Come with me to Earth." "And you could stay here," she countered. "Neither option solves the larger problem." They fell silent, the weight of their impossible situation settling between them. Finally, Devon spoke. "There's a third option." He indicated the data crystal. "This information belongs to both our species, if we could present it together, as evidence of what's possible between us." "It would be seen as treason," Zara warned, though hope flickered in her amber eyes, "or as the greatest diplomatic breakthrough in history." Their conversation gave way to more primal communication, the desperate embrace of lovers facing separation. Devon marveled at how natural it felt to be with her now, how the initial strangeness of her purple skin and luminescent patterns had transformed into a beauty he couldn't imagine living without. In the dim light of his quarters, Zara's body glowed with increasing intensity as their intimacy deepened. Devon had learned to read these patterns, how they flowed and pulsed with her emotions, how they responded to his touch. Tonight they shimmered with both passion and sorrow. "If we're caught," she gasped as his lips traced the sensitive curve of her neck. "Then at least we'll have had this," he finished, guiding her beneath him. Their lovemaking carried the urgency of farewell, each touch, each kiss attempting to memorize the other. Devon had never felt so connected to another being. The synchronicity of their movements felt almost supernatural, as if confirming the shared ancestry revealed in the data. Afterward, as they lay entwined, Zara traced symbols on his chest. Nexorian characters Devon now recognized as representing unity and transformation. "There's something I haven't told you," she whispered. "Something about the alignment of the moons tonight." Before she could continue, an alarm blared throughout the research district. Lights flashed red along the walls of Devon's quarters. "They know," Zara said, leaping up and dressing quickly. "Someone must have tracked the data crystal's removal." Devon scrambled into his clothes. "What do we do?" "There's a transport vessel in the lower hangar, used for atmospheric research. I can operate it." Her eyes met his, determination replacing fear. "It's time for that third option, Devon, but we'll have only one chance." As security protocols locked down the research district sector by sector, Devon and Zara raced through maintenance tunnels. Twice they narrowly avoided patrol drones, pressing themselves into alcoves, hearts pounding in unison. The hangar loomed ahead, a massive chamber housing various Nexorian vessels. The smallest, roughly the size of an Earth shuttle, sat nearest the atmospheric doors. "That one," Zara pointed. "It has enough range to reach the neutral station at the system's edge. From there, we can contact both governments directly." As they sprinted toward the vessel, a commanding voice echoed through the hangar. "Stop where you are, both of you." They turned to find Counselor Thrain standing with 4 security officers, all holding stun projectors. "This path leads only to conflict between our worlds," Thrain said gravely. Devon stepped forward, the data crystal clutched in his hand. "Or to the greatest reconciliation in our histories." Behind them, the moon's alignment created a beam of concentrated light that pierced the hangar's crystal ceiling, illuminating the standoff in an otherworldly glow. Celestial convergence. The light from the aligned moons intensified, bathing the hangar in a prismatic radiance that seemed to slow time itself. Devon noticed something extraordinary happening to both himself and Zara. Their skin began to glow with identical patterns, human and Nexorian responding identically to the celestial phenomenon. Counselor Thrain lowered his weapon slightly, astonished. "The convergence light, it hasn't appeared since the original genetic separation," Zara finished, her voice filled with awe. "It's in the most restricted archives, Thrain. You know what this means." The security officers looked uncertainly between Thrain and the glowing couple. Devon seized the moment. "The data shows our species were intentionally separated after being created from the same genetic template," he explained. "This light, this reaction proves it. We're witnessing what the ancients predicted. The celestial convergence that would reunite the divided children." Thrain's stern facade cracked, revealing deep conflict. "The convergence is a myth, a story to explain away dangerous facts." "Then explain this," Zara challenged, holding out her arm beside Devon's where identical luminescent patterns now flowed across both their skins. "The patterns shouldn't be possible in human physiology." A new voice entered the confrontation, unless the activation was always intended. Everyone turned to see an elderly Nexorian emerging from the shadows. Matriarch Alara, the eldest council member, rarely seen in public. Her ancient purple skin bore patterns more complex than any Devon had seen. "Counselor Thrain, stand down," she commanded. "What we witness was predicted in the original covenant. When the divided children find love despite separation, when the 3 moons align during the 7,000th cycle, the path forward would be revealed." "Matriarch, with respect, exposing this could destabilize," Thrain began. "It is not our place to hide what was always meant to be found," Ilara interrupted. "The ancient engineers didn't separate us out of failure, but as part of a grand experiment, to see if we would find our way back to each other through choice rather than design." Devon felt the warmth of the light penetrating deeper, awakening something dormant within his cells. Beside him, Zara experienced the same awakening, her eyes widening with new understanding. "The crystal," she whispered to Devon. "Hold it up to the light." Devon raised the data crystal, which caught the convergence beam and projected an enormous holographic star map across the hangar ceiling, showing Earth and Nexoria not as distant worlds, but as twin planets whose orbits created a perfect binary pattern when viewed across millennia. "2 worlds, 2 experiments, 1 people," Ilara said softly. "The ancient texts speak of this moment, when representatives of both worlds would choose unity over separation." Thrain slowly holstered his weapon, his resistance crumbling before the evidence and the matriarch's authority. "What happens now?" "Now," Ilara said, turning to Devon and Zara. "These 2 must make their choice. Not escape, not secrecy, but whether to become the bridge between our worlds." The decision crystallized for Devon in that moment. His research, his career, even his identity as purely human, all seemed small compared to the historic opportunity before them. He looked at Zara, whose expression told him she felt the same certainty. "We choose unity," they said in unison. In the weeks that followed, the revelation transformed both societies. Joint scientific commissions were established. Cultural exchanges flourished. The initial shock gave way to fascination and then acceptance as more humans and Nexorians discovered their genetic compatibility through the activation of dormant sequences. Devon and Zara became diplomats, traveling between worlds as living proof of what was possible. Their union, formalized in a ceremony that blended traditions from both planets, symbolized a new era of cooperation. 1 year after the hangar confrontation, they stood together on a newly constructed observation platform between Earth and Nexorian space. Below them, the first mixed settlement was taking shape, a community of humans and Nexorians working and living together. "Do you ever regret it?" Devon asked, watching shuttles from both worlds arriving with new residents. "Giving up your old life?" Zara's purple fingers intertwined with his, both their skins shimmering with matching patterns in the starlight. "How can I regret finding what was always meant to be?" As they gazed outward toward the stars that had birthed both their species, Devon remembered his first day on Nexoria, that whispered question, "Is this real?" Now he knew the answer. What they had discovered together wasn't just real, it was the most profound reality, hidden in plain sight across 2 worlds and thousands of years, waiting for the right moment and the right hearts to bring it into the light. "What do you think they intended?" he asked, referring to the ancient engineers who had created both their species. "When they separated us?" Zara smiled, resting her head against his shoulder. "Perhaps they knew that anything truly valuable must be chosen, not imposed. They gave us the greatest gift, finding each other across the stars." The 3 moons of Nexoria aligned once more in the distance, their light a reminder of the convergence that had changed everything, not just for 2 people from different worlds, but for 2 civilizations ready to become one.